Have you ever felt a sudden pang of unease when someone congratulated you, as if their words rang hollow? Or sensed a friend's facial expression tightening when you shared good news about your life? Maybe you've caught wind of subtle gossip about you circulating among people you once trusted. If any of these scenarios resonate with you, you're certainly not alone. In this video, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and important areas of psychology, Carl Jung's shadow theory, and how it explains hidden resentments, envy, and the manipulative tactics people use, often without even realizing it. More importantly, we'll explore the advanced techniques you can use to protect yourself and rewrite your reality. The surprising truth is that the real reason certain people secretly despise or belittle you may not be what you think. It often has little to do with something you did wrong and much more to do with what you represent. You might shine a light on an aspect of themselves that they're avoiding. With that in mind, let's unravel these hidden dynamics and learn how to disarm psychological parasites who feed on our energy. Because knowing about these patterns might just save you a lifetime of stress and heartbreak. So buckle up. This is about more than spotting fake friends. It's about taking control of your own destiny by understanding the deepest layers of the human psyche. Ready? Let's dive in. To fully understand how envy, resentment, and secret hostility form, we have to lay the groundwork with Jung's shadow theory. Carl Gustav Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst, believed that every human psyche contains a shadow. This shadow is composed of qualities, traits, and potentialities that we either repress or deny. They might include traits we find embarrassing, shameful, or simply incompatible with the persona we show the world. But here's the crucial piece. Sometimes the shadow doesn't stay locked away quietly. Instead, it nudges us in ways we scarcely notice, influencing our perceptions, our emotional reactions, and the judgments we place on others. When we remain unaware of our own repressed traits and insecurities, we project them onto other people. For example, if you secretly feel insecure about your intelligence, you might constantly accuse others of thinking they're better than you. Conversely, if someone around you hasn't integrated their own shadow, they might target you, calling you arrogant, self-centered, or undeserving, because you remind them of something unresolved in themselves. That's the hidden drama behind everyday conflicts, moments of envy, and resentments that arise seemingly out of nowhere. Our relationships become battlefields when we, or those around us, fail to integrate the shadow. By shining a light on the unconscious aspects of ourselves, we begin to recognize when we're projecting and when we're on the receiving end of someone else's projection. Imagine you walk into a workplace and a new colleague takes an immediate dislike to you. You haven't done anything intentionally offensive, but this colleague starts making subtle jabs, offering backhanded compliments, or spreading small rumors. Chances are, they see something in you that triggers their own insecurities. This scenario repeats itself in families, friendships, and online interactions, anywhere human beings connect. So you might be asking, why do I need to know all this? Because awareness is the first step toward freedom. Once you recognize how your own unresolved material might cause or attract negative dynamics, you can step away from becoming an unknowing pawn in someone else's psychological chess game. Often, the negativity you face from others has little to do with your character flaws and everything to do with the unhealed parts of themselves. Let's illustrate this in a simpler way. Suppose you're generally a joyful person. You radiate positivity, you genuinely praise your friends, and you strive to see the best in people. Yet you notice a certain friend or acquaintance consistently belittles your achievements or rolls their eyes whenever you share something positive. What's going on? Well, your radiant energy might highlight the gap between who they currently are and who they wish they could be. They aren't mad at you for being joyful. They're frustrated with themselves for not feeling that same sense of joy, ambition, or contentment. It's like being forced to hold up a mirror, seeing all the qualities they've repressed. On a deeper level, every time they witness you thriving, it triggers an internal alarm. Why am I not as happy? Why don't I feel that kind of spark? If they remain unconscious of these questions, if they push them back down into their own shadow, they project that discomfort onto you. Suddenly, you are the problem in their eyes. You are showing off. You are fake. or you are lucky in a way that's unfair. The negativity directed your way is really about their own frustration, fear, or sadness at not embodying those same traits or successes. Does this mean you should just brush it off and move on? Not necessarily. We'll talk about protective measures soon. But the crucial takeaway here is to stop personalizing everyone else's negativity. Sometimes the more you shine, the more people who haven't made peace with their own shadows will feel threatened. Recognizing that their hostility isn't actually about you is step one in maintaining peace of mind. Let's get more specific about envy and jealousy, two powerful forces that can poison relationships. While these emotions are a normal part of the human experience, they can grow toxic if they remain unacknowledged. Jealousy versus envy. Jealousy often involves a third party and the fear of losing something you have, a partner, a friend's loyalty, a job position, to someone else. Envy arises from the desire for something someone else possesses. Maybe you want their talent, their success, their looks, or their social connections. Why projection happens. When people feel these uncomfortable emotions, their ego steps in to protect them from pain. The ego uses what psychology calls defense mechanisms. Projection is one of the most common ones. Instead of saying, "I'm envious of your success," a person unconsciously flips it around. Now it becomes, "You're so arrogant with all your accomplishments." It's far easier to attack you than to confront the root of their own pain, feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, or fear of never measuring up. Hidden resentment. Left unchecked, these projected feelings turn into a covert pattern of resentment. The envious individual might not even admit they're envious, but their behavior shows it. Snide comments, sabotage, or passive-aggressive interactions. Meanwhile, you're scratching your head wondering, why do they hate me when I haven't done anything to them? The answer lies in their internal conflict, catalyzed by your presence. By understanding this dynamic, you become emotionally resilient. You see the signs, you maintain healthy boundaries, and you preserve your energy. Instead of feeling guilty or trying to shrink to make others comfortable, you stand firm in your truth, aware that their resentment is a reflection of their unhealed inner world, psychological warfare tactics used against you. Some people, whether consciously or not, engage in what we can call psychological warfare. It might sound dramatic, but it's basically the strategic use of manipulation and influence to destabilize or control someone. Here are a few common tactics. Gaslighting. This is when someone tries to make you doubt your perception of reality. For instance, they might insist you're too sensitive or you're overreacting, even if you have legitimate concerns. The goal is to make you question your memory, your observations, and eventually your sanity. Or if you find yourself constantly apologizing for things you're not even sure you did, or you consistently doubt your instincts around a particular person, gaslighting may be at play. Triangulation. This occurs when a person brings a third party into the dynamic to create jealousy, rivalry, or confusion. Instead of addressing issues head-on, they talk to someone else about you, fueling misunderstandings. They might say, "Even Sarah thinks you're being unreasonable," to pit you against Sarah. This tactic can fracture friend groups, families, and social circles, making the manipulator the central figure who appears to have all the power. Passive-aggressive behavior. Rather than openly communicating frustrations or envy, a person might use backhanded compliments or sabotage your efforts behind the scenes. They may volunteer to help, but conveniently forget, cause delays, or do a poor job that leaves you worse off than if you had no help at all. Over time, these small acts accumulate, leaving you feeling drained and uncertain why everything keeps falling apart. Projection attacks. This goes beyond casual projection into targeted attacks where the individual consistently accuses you of traits that clearly belong to them. For instance, someone who is incredibly selfish might keep accusing you of being self-centered. It's a double blow because they're broadcasting a distorted image of you to others, while never dealing with their own behavior. If you spot these tactics in your social circle, pay attention. Recognizing psychological warfare is the first step in ending it. You have a right to emotional well-being, and part of that means refusing to participate in manipulative games. Exposing and disarming energy parasites. The term energy parasite or energy vampire is often used in spiritual or holistic circles, but it effectively describes people who drain your emotional and mental resources. They don't necessarily steal anything tangible from you. They sap your positivity, focus, and motivation, leaving you feeling tired or even depressed after interacting with them. Identifying the pattern. Constant negativity. Do you have a friend who always has a crisis? Or who only calls you to complain about life's unfairness, never once asking how you are? That's a red flag. Emotional turbulence. After spending time with this person, do you feel anxious, sad, or angry without a clear reason? Sometimes, just being around them changes your emotional state for the worse. One-sided conversation. You listen to their problems for an hour, trying to offer help and guidance. But the moment you share something important about your life, they seem bored or change the topic. Subtle guilt traps. If you try to pull away or create boundaries, they make you feel guilty. They might say you're abandoning me, or accuse you of not being a true friend, all the while ignoring the fact that your emotional capacity has limits. How to disarm them. Observe without reacting. Practice seeing their behavior as a pattern rather than an attack on you. Energy parasites thrive on emotional reactions. If you remain calm and centered, they lose their fuel. Set clear boundaries. Let them know you have a limited amount of time or energy to engage with their complaints. Offer a practical piece of advice once, then step away if they keep complaining without action. Self-care routines. Engage in activities that recharge you. Exercise, meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in nature. Ensure your own energy reserves stay full. Know when to walk away. Some connections may be too draining to maintain. While it's not always easy, you sometimes have to end or drastically reduce contact with individuals who refuse to respect your boundaries. Advanced techniques to protect yourself and rewrite your reality. Now that we've examined the destructive side of unintegrated shadows, envy, and psychological warfare, let's pivot to the empowering side, building your defense systems and creatively shaping your own reality. These advanced techniques blend modern psychology with holistic traditions, offering you a more holistic shield. Integrate your own shadow. First and foremost, remember the journey starts with you. If you haven't acknowledged your own repressed traits, you're more susceptible to other people's projections and manipulations. Journaling. Write down moments when you felt jealous, resentful, or overly critical of someone else. Ask yourself why. Are you seeing in them a quality you repress within yourself? Getting it down on paper helps you see patterns and take ownership. Shadow work exercises. These can include guided meditations or visualizations where you confront aspects of yourself you find disturbing or shameful. It's about embracing them with compassion, not condemnation. When you're at peace with who you are, good, bad, and in between, outside attacks lose much of their power. Own your strengths. Integrating your shadow doesn't just mean facing your faults. It also means embracing the skills, gifts, and positive attributes you've downplayed out of fear. Sometimes we hide our brilliance because we're afraid of standing out. Owning your light is as vital as owning your darkness. Visualize and reprogram. Harness the power of imagination and intention to reshape limiting beliefs and protect your energetic space. Daily visualization. Begin each morning with a simple ritual. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and picture yourself surrounded by a warm, bright sphere of light. This light can represent your emotional boundaries. You're still open to healthy, genuine connections, but negativity bounces off your shield. Affirmations. Speak or write affirmations that resonate with your situation. Examples. I am confident in my worth. I release energies that do not belong to me. Or, I maintain healthy boundaries with ease. Energetic cleanse. Some people like to use incense, salt baths, or grounding exercises in nature to cleanse any residual negative energy. While these practices aren't scientifically proven, many find them mentally and emotionally refreshing. The key is your intention. By believing you are removing toxic influences, you help your mind adapt to a healthier state. The power of boundaries. One of the biggest life lessons is learning when to say no. Here's how to do it gracefully. Firm but kind communication. You don't need to be aggressive to be firm. Something like, "I understand you're upset, but I need some space to process," sets a boundary politely. Consistent enforcement. A boundary is only effective if you enforce it consistently. If you let one event slide but stand firm the next time, you send mixed signals and people might push you further. Embrace short-term discomfort. Saying no or distancing yourself from a toxic friend can feel uncomfortable or even scary. But short-term discomfort is a fair trade for long-term emotional well-being. Rewriting your story. We often carry narratives about ourselves that others have written for us. "You're too sensitive. You'll never succeed without my help. People don't really like you, they just tolerate you." Over time, these narratives become self-fulfilling prophecies unless you rewrite them. Identify the old script. Listen to your inner monologue. Whose voice do you hear? A critical teacher? An envious sibling? A dismissive friend? Once you identify where the old script originated, you can choose not to accept it anymore. Draft a new narrative. Replace limiting beliefs with empowering ones. I am worthy of respect. I can handle challenges on my own. I am loved and valued by those who truly see me. Enact it in daily life. Changes in self-perception become real when you behave as if the new narrative is true. If you believe "I am worthy of respect," you'll stop tolerating disrespectful comments or actions, reinforcing your new story in tangible ways. A mini case study, Jessica and the shadow at work. Let's illustrate these principles with a brief case study. Meet Jessica, a talented graphic designer. She's warm, creative, and consistently meets deadlines. Yet she notices something strange. Her coworker, Lisa, often gives her curt replies, undermines her in meetings, and spreads subtle rumors that Jessica got the job because she's a people pleaser. Confused, Jessica tries to befriend Lisa, inviting her to lunch and praising her design ideas. But Lisa's hostility only grows. Then Jessica learns that Lisa once submitted her designs to the same manager, but was told they lacked the right spark. Jessica's presence amplifies Lisa's sense of inadequacy, fueling resentment. Jessica decides to integrate her own shadow and see if she's projecting anything. She realizes she sometimes downplays her achievements so as not to appear arrogant. Acknowledging this self-sabotage, Jessica begins to own her talent more confidently. She also recognizes Lisa's envy is not Jessica's fault. To protect herself, she sets boundaries. Politely but firmly tells Lisa, "I appreciate constructive feedback, but these personal remarks are uncalled for." Self-care. Jessica practices daily affirmations. "My creativity is valid and earned." She stops letting Lisa's negativity define her self-worth. Energy check. After interactions with Lisa, Jessica does a quick breathing exercise, visualizing any negative energy leaving her body on each exhale. Outcome. Over time, Jessica notices Lisa's negative remarks lose their sting. Co-workers see through the rumors because Jessica's work ethic and confidence shine through. While Lisa might remain resentful, Jessica's sense of peace and self-assuredness grows. This case study shows that we can't always change other people's behavior, but we can shift our response and protect our sense of inner security. Pulling it all together. We've covered a lot of ground. Jung's shadow theory, the underpinnings of envy and hidden resentment, common psychological warfare tactics, and how to expose and disarm energy parasites. We've also highlighted advanced strategies to safeguard yourself, integrating your own shadow, using visualization and reprogramming techniques, setting clear boundaries, and rewriting your personal narrative. So here's what you need to remember. Awareness is power. The more you understand your own unconscious triggers and the unhealed wounds of others, the less likely you are to be manipulated or drained by them. It's often not about you. Negative behaviors directed toward you can reflect the other person's unresolved shadow. Don't internalize it or take it personally. You deserve to protect your energy. Setting boundaries and saying no is an act of self-love. You are not responsible for carrying the emotional baggage of others. Rewrite your reality. Through introspection, self-acceptance, and conscious reprogramming, you can shape a more fulfilling, confident, and resilient version of your life. Practice compassion with caution. Compassion doesn't mean allowing toxic behavior. Understand why people act as they do, but guard your well-being. Life becomes infinitely more peaceful when we break free from covert hostility and manipulative dynamics. You can spot the signs sooner, keep your self-esteem intact, and pursue your goals without unnecessary detours. Of course, none of this is a quick fix. Shadow work is a journey that can span years, and boundary setting is a skill honed over time. But the rewards, inner peace, healthier relationships, and genuine self-confidence are invaluable. If you're watching this video or reading this script and realizing you have a Lisa in your life, or you're grappling with your own shadow, don't panic. Self-awareness is the first step toward breaking free from destructive cycles. You have more power to shape your reality than you've been led to believe. Start small. Set one boundary, do 5 minutes of reflective journaling, or practice a brief visualization exercise in the morning. Continue exploring the concepts of Jung's psychology. Read about shadow work, or look into various holistic methods for emotional cleansing. Find a supportive community, whether it's a therapist, a group of friends who value personal growth, or online spaces devoted to self-improvement. The key is to keep learning, keep reflecting, and keep refining how you show up in the world. As you move forward, remember that you're an active participant in the narrative of your life. You can choose to let hidden resentments define you, or you can use them as catalysts for greater self-awareness and transformation. While you can't control how people perceive you or how they handle their own shadows, you can decide how you'll handle yours. In doing so, you become a beacon of authenticity, attracting people who align with your values while naturally repelling those threatened by genuine self-acceptance. So what's next for you? Are you ready to explore your own shadow, set boundaries, and reclaim your personal power? Let us know in the comments how you plan to apply these insights in your daily life. And if you found this video valuable, please give it a like, share it with someone who might benefit, and consider subscribing for more deep dives into human psychology and personal development. Thank you for joining us on this journey to unmask envy, hidden resentments, and the subtle warfare that can rob us of our peace. Remember, the more you understand these dynamics, the more you can navigate life's challenges with clarity, confidence, and compassion. Until next time, stay curious, stay empowered, and keep shining your light.